Hi guys, and welcome back to On The Shelf. So I have a really special video for you guys today. Recently it was my 1 year anniversary of starting this channel, so I just want to go ahead and say thanks so much to everyone who's supported me throughout this past year, who's liked my videos, shared my videos, or even just casually watched them whenever they pop up, because I know I've not been the best at kind of consistency. Everything you guys do means so much to me, and when I look back on my journey through YouTube, things have changed quite a bit. I mean, my early videos were very questionable. I didn't really have that good a tripod, so I'm kind of like looking down on the camera a lot and it was quite sketchy. And I think, I like to think the quality of my videos and the content in my videos has improved over this year, but mostly I'm just really happy with the journey that I've been on, the people that I've met, the friends that I've gained through this wonderful hobby, and I really hope that you've enjoyed watching the channel, whether you've been here from the very beginning or whether you're new. This is a video idea that I've had for a really long time, and I've never really bothered to attempt it because I like watching them and I like, the idea of it, but it seems like a really big challenge. But anyway, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do a manga collection video. So I've been collecting manga for roughly 10 years, maybe more. I can't be bothered to figure it out, but this is, a pretty decent collection. I don't claim to have the most manga of any YouTuber, but I'm really happy with everything I have. So yeah, let's get straight to it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to catch you next time. Okay, so my first bookcase that is usually out of frame has a lot of double stacked stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut to what's behind the initial volumes. Okay, so at the top of the bookcase I have two box sets. One is Death Note and the other is Bakuman. So they're both by the same authors, or artist/author duo, and they're both really great series, so I don't really have much else to say about those. But I really like the single volumes of any series, so I prefer those over the black editions of Death Note. And Bakuman is something that I got as a gift a while ago, and I binge read the whole thing in a very short time, so definitely advise that you check it out if you're into slice of life romance, which is all about the manga industry, so you should be interested in that, I would think. Okay, starting off on my very first shelf of my first bookcase, this is what's behind the initial volumes. So I have the first 4 shelves are all double stacked. So first up we have Nana, volume 1 to 21. So that's the entire series of Nana. I hate to say I haven't read it all yet. I'm about up to volume 5. This kind of is on my to read list. But when you're just not really in the mood for a kind of like a shoujo romance series, yeah, that's me right now. But it's a great series so far, and I hear really good things about it, although it doesn't have an ending, so it's one of those, I keep putting it off. But yeah, next up we have Noragami. I have volumes 1 to 15. This isn't everything that's out right now, but it's a really cool fantasy series, I would say. It's like an action fantasy about a god who is not very well known, and he wants to make a name for himself by doing odd jobs and things like that. Yeah, it's quite fun. I really enjoy it, but it's just one that I haven't really felt an urge to pick up much of recently. And then we have Noragami Stray Stories, which I haven't read yet, which is kind of like a little, I suppose the equivalent to like OVA specials in an anime. It's like a little short stories volume. Next to that we have Living Stone, volumes 1 to 4. So I did a review on this very early on in the channel, so I'll leave a link somewhere in this video now. But this is a really great series by the creator of Deadman Wonderland. She actually has a really kind of distinctive art style, but this is more of a supernatural type series. It's about this duo, and they can use their kind of like supernatural psychic abilities to help people's souls pass on into the next life. And it's a really enjoyable series, and very short as well, so that's always a bonus. Okay, next behind my second shelf, at the very back obviously, We have Yoda of the Dawn Volumes 1 and 2, again something that I did a review of. Really love that series. I definitely need to pick more of it up, but I haven't had a chance. My Love Story, which is probably my favourite shoujo series that I've ever read. Again, I've been picking these up pre-owned, and I haven't really seen any of Volume 5 onwards pre-owned, so I haven't got that yet. But if you haven't checked it out and you're kind of thinking about picking up shoujo, then it's definitely the place to start. Next I have Black Torch Volumes 1 and 2. This is a really short series that was cancelled. It's kind of like a little bit of an action exorcism type series. It's pretty fun, but I don't think I'll be collecting the rest of it really. Probably going to sell that at some point. So next to Black Torch I have Hero Tales 1 to 5. This was a completely blind eBay buy, and I bought it just because it's created by Hiromu Arakawa, which is the author, well, artist of Full Metal Alchemist, as you probably know. But the story's by a different author, or it's based on, you know, a completely different story. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, I haven't had time to read this yet. I just picked it up because someone was selling all the volumes. And I thought, you know, what the hell, it's one of those impulse buys, might regret it later, but, you know, we'll see. I'll let you know if I ever get around to reading that, or if you've read it, let me know in the comments. Then we have Shaman King Volume 1, which, you know, Shaman King's out of print now, so I'm never really going to get those unless someone decides to license the rest of it. Next to that is Gintama Volumes 1 to 5. I am not a fan of comedy manga, and I have tried to sell these with no luck, so they remain here on my shelf until I can get rid of them. But, you know, I quite like the covers. I like the spines at least. It's a fun little series. And next to that I have Deadman Wonderland 1 to 13. Really great series. This is completed. But I'm only up to like volume 9. I kind of like stopped at that point and I don't really know why. So I'm going to go back and revisit this and kind of get an ending. And if you'd be interested in a review of that, then maybe I'll do one at some point. Next to that I have Haikyuu 1 to 8, again a series I've been collecting pre-owned. I enjoy it for the most part. I am not really a fan of sports manga, but you know, this one's pretty fun and it's more character driven, which I really like. So maybe we'll stick with that because I know it's very popular, but again, I'm not sure. And next to that is Dr. Stone Volume 1 to 3. I know a lot of you guys really love Dr. Stone. It's not something that I've ever read. This is again an eBay buy. You can see a bit of a trend. I've never got round to reading it, but I always kind of give series a bit of a 3-volume try just to see if I'll enjoy it. But I've heard a lot of good things about it. I've heard a lot of okay things about it. I'm just going to leave that there. And next to that is the first volume of Haruhi Suzumiya, which was one of the first things I ever bought when I started collecting manga, and I just was buying the first volumes of everything. I really love the anime, so I think that's why I kind of thought I would enjoy this, but never felt a need to read the rest of it. Next to it is probably the worst manga that I've read. That's not saying like it's awful, but I just didn't like it at all. It's Cat Paradise. I think it was one that I found in like a bargain bin type deal, and I thought, oh, cats, like I'm interested in that, but it's pretty bad. Like the art's bad, the story's bad. Don't buy this, okay? So onto the third shelf, behind the initial volumes again, we have the first 7 volumes of Tagami Bachi, which is a really great Shonen Jump series, which is really completely different to everything I've ever read. But again, this is one that I'm trying to collect pre-owned because you can't really find the volumes very like new anymore. So I'm holding out for the later volumes of that. Next is probably one of my most favourite new Shonen Jump series, shall we say. That's One Punch Man. I have volumes 1 to 18, which I'm pretty sure there might be 19 now. I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, I'm up to date with this. I love this series. It's really funny. Some people say it gets stale after a certain point, but I don't. I kind of won't get bored of One Punch Man. Next up I have the Promise Neverland 1 to 7. I'm quite behind with this, and I really love this, but it's a binge-worthy one, so I'm waiting for the rest of it to come out to get all at once. so then I can just finish it all in one go. That's the plan. But this, for people who don't know, is about a group of children who are in a school, but things aren't what they seem, perhaps, let's say. I don't really want to say too much more, but it's kind of a lot darker than your usual Shonen Jump series, so definitely worth checking out if you haven't already. And then next to that I have the Silent Voice box set. So I think I've done a review of a Silent Voice. Can't remember, it's been a year. But I'll see if I have, and I'll link it if I have. But if not, this should be a must-buy for everyone. If you haven't read it or watched the film, I mean, either's pretty good, but I prefer the manga personally. It's such a touching story, it's such a fantastic story, and considering there's a box set of it and it's pretty cheap, you've no excuse to not have that in your collection. Okay, fourth shelf, some more questionable buys. So these are the first 2 volumes of the Madoka Magica manga. Fantastic anime if you haven't seen it, but this again was like the Haruhi Suzumiya thing where I picked them up when I first started collecting because I thought I would enjoy it, but I don't. So again, can't get rid of those for some reason. Next to that, I don't know why I have these. It's Sword Art Online Progressive, whatever that is, but volumes 2 and 3. These were part of a gift from someone that I work with, gave me some manga. These came with it, but I've never got round to reading them, and I probably won't because I don't like Sword Art Online. Next we have Attack on Titan, volumes 1 to 16. I'm really behind with Attack on Titan. I read it initially, didn't like the art, preferred the anime, but then was talked round to giving it another chance, and I'm glad I did. I really love Attack on Titan. I think it's really cool, and I actually think the art style is quite charming now, so it goes to show you that you shouldn't always kind of be too hasty to judge a series initially. But yeah, one that I am again behind with. I'm sort of tackling the backlog at the moment. I think I'm up to like volume 13 of this, and I plan to read the rest when I get the chance. Next to that I have Astro Lost in Space, volumes 1 to 5. This is a really good little sci-fi series that's quite compacted and full of interesting characters and really, you know, creative ideas. And considering it's only 5 volumes, it's kind of like Livingstone. It's really worth your time actually, and it's not going to hurt your wallet all that much. Next to that I have, probably after Death Note, my favourite work by Oba and Obata, which is Platinum End. These are the most beautiful covers ever. Like, I think that volume 9 is perhaps my favourite cover of any manga that I have. I don't know why, I really love the yellow. They've all got this kind of like shiny effect to them. I'm just like a kid with things like that, so yeah, I really love those. And it's a great series. It gets a lot of hate, but I actually really enjoy it, and I think it's, although it can be compared to Death Note, it's still worth checking out. Next to that I have Time Killers, which was a compilation of Kazui Kato's initial one-shots. So she's the author of Blue Exorcist, as you can probably tell from the cover. I quite liked Blue Exorcist, but I did sell it on because it was a bit slow for me. But this is really fun. I quite enjoy looking at, you know, the way an artist has kind of like changed their style throughout the years, and it's a little bit different. So this was one that I decided to keep despite selling on the volumes of Blue Exorcist. Next to this I have my Death Note Collector's Edition Volume 1, which is featured in my favourite parts of my manga collection. This was also a gift, really quite difficult to find, but I really, you know, I'm happy to have that in my collection. And then next to that I have 4 volumes of Jojo'S. I'm very behind on Jojo'S, but I think it's because everyone says the first arc is the worst arc, and I agree. I didn't really like it that much. So by the end of it and by the start of this, I can tell that it's picking up, but it's a little bit difficult to kind of buy volumes when you think, oh, it'll get good soon, when there's other stuff that I'd rather read that I actually enjoy quite a bit more. So yeah, let me know down below at what point JoJo's gets really good, and I'll decide later if I'm gonna kind of continue with picking it up. So swiftly jumping back to the top of the bookcase, this is what I actually have my bookcases set up as. So on the kind of first 4, I have volumes in front of others. So first up I have Bleach in all its entirety. So I have the first 44 volumes on the first shelf, and then 45 to 74 on the second shelf. And then we also have a Bleach Collector's Edition volume, the 2 character books, and then this like colour Bleach special book that they released. Bleach is my favourite series, well, favourite shonen, so that's why I have it at the top of my bookcase. I know it gets some hate, but I'll always love it. And then next we have my second favourite shonen, which is D Grey Man. Very, very slow to release. So I have volumes 1 to 26, and that's all that's out so far. 26 was only released recently, with several years in between 25 and 26. And they did me wrong with this stupid logo changes again. So yeah, that's another story for another day. Next to that I have Naruto volume 28 up to 58, and then 59 up to 72. I have the rest of Naruto in a box set, but I only bought the first Naruto box set, so I have the singles for the second part of Naruto if you like. But fun fact, volume 42 and 43 of Naruto were the first volumes of manga I ever bought, because I wanted to know what happened in the Itachi fight, for those who are interested. Little fun fact. So down here next to volume 72 of Naruto, I have this, which was like an epilogue volume of Naruto called 7th Hokage and Scarlet Spring. It's kind of like a fun little wrap up, but it ties into like the Boruto storyline, which I don't really care for. And then an official fan book, which was the 3rd manga I ever bought, so I bought this with the other 2 volumes of Naruto. So I'll always love Naruto. Even though it's flawed towards the end, it's still a great story, and I think everyone should read it. Next to that, I have volumes 1 to 19 of Black Clover, which is my new favourite shonen series. Okay, halfway through the first bookcase, so we're doing all right so far. But we have Soul Eater volumes 1 to 25 and Soul Eater Not volume 1 to 5. This is completed. I know they're releasing a perfect edition of Soul Eater, but it took me a long time to get these singles, and I prefer single volumes over omnibuses where I can get them, so that was an easy choice for me. A lot of nostalgia. I really love this series. Soul Eater Not I don't love that much for obvious reasons. It's an ecchi type of series. I bought it because it was a cover buy actually. The covers are really well designed, and they have this matte glossy type finish, and I thought it would be a nice spin-off from Soul Eater, but in actual fact it's just a bit of a an ecchi kind of nothing really happens comedy series, which was really weird, but I can't really bring myself to sell that. Next to that I have this new series, which is Fire Force. Very behind. I only have the first 2 volumes, but we'll get to that when I get to that. Next to this we have Blood Lad volumes 1 to 3. I'm really behind with Blood Lad, but again I don't feel any compulsion to buy any more volumes just yet. It's pretty underrated, but it's kind of a standard like shonen vampire series with a little bit of fan service. Nothing too original, but I hear pretty decent things about it. Next to this, actually, we have Mpd Psycho. So this was one of the first volumes I ever bought, purely because it had shrink wrap and it said parental advisory on it, and I thought, I've got to see what's in this. And because I couldn't flick through it in the bookstore, I just bought the thing. Sadly, Dark Horse have decided that they're not going to make any more of these, and they didn't even bother to finish it. But it's a cool thriller murder series, which is very gory and really violent, sort of thing that I really enjoy. But yeah, holding out for kind of a re-release of those. don't think we'll get one. And then next to that I have Ajin Demi-Human Volumes 1 to 6. These are quite expensive from Vertical, but really, really nice releases, and it's probably my kind of one of my new favourite seinen series. Maybe I'll do a review on this again in the future, but yeah, I plan on collecting those when I can. And then next to those we have just some bookmarks, you know, so that's my little place to keep those. Okay, so towards the bottom of my first bookcase I have a little bit of a horror shelf going on. So All You Need Is Kill is a 1-volume series that's drawn by Obata but not written by him. I wouldn't say it's a horror, but it's kind of like a violent sci-fi. And then next to that I have another, which is a really cool horror series printed by Yen Press. It's a huge omnibus kind of one, you know, single volume thing, which I always advise people, you know, is a good idea. And I think actually it was it the first video I ever made where I did a video on, you know, the best single volume series to check out or cheap series to check out, and I'm pretty sure I mentioned this just because it's good quality for money. And it's a cool, interesting horror series. Next to that I have Doubt Volumes 1 and 2, that's completed. This is, I compare it to like Saw, the manga. It's not amazing, but it's entertaining for the most part, so if you're looking for something a little bit more gory and a bit more like a slasher movie, then that's a good shout. Here I have my very limited Gingy Ito collection. I keep meaning to get more, but Uzumaki was the first one I ever got. Smashed was a gift from my good friend Alonzi, which is really cool. It's a really good like compilation of short stories. And then I've got the more recent No Longer Human, which is a retelling of a novel. There were 3 volumes originally drawn by someone else that are impossible to get hold of for cheap, but I think that this is the best we can hope for, and the cover art on this thing, wow, it's just so nice and slick and like clean, which is weirdly juxtaposed to the subject matter of the book, so I quite enjoy that. Next to that I have Parasite Volumes 1 to 8. I've seen the anime as well. I prefer the manga, but it's pretty dated. I wouldn't advise it as like a new series, but if you're kind of not too squeamish and you don't mind a little bit of kind of body transformation horror, then that's a good one to start with. And then next to that I have the Kurosagi Corpse Delivery Service, Volumes 1 to 14. Again, this was discontinued by Dark Horse, and you know, I got the news that they're going to continue the series, but only in omnibus form, so that's going to, you know, really hurt me considering I enjoy the single volumes. But who knows, maybe we'll sell this off, try and get the omnibuses if I can, but I believe they're also out of print, so thanks Dark Horse again for screwing us all over. Okay, and way down here on the bottom shelf I have Witch Hat Atelier Volume 1, Tokyo Tarariba Girls Volume 1. Love both the series, pretty different, but again not in any rush to buy the rest. Ran and the Grey World Volumes 1 and 2. It's a magical series, the art is really nice, but there's questionable themes in there, and that's all I'm going to say. It's kind of got a little bit of a, like, the main character's a girl who's very young and can suddenly turn into an adult, so let's just, you know, see what Japan does with that, and you can guess, you know, what happens. Children of the Whales Volumes 1 and 2. I know Alonzi loves the anime for this. I've never got around to reading those. I bought them a long time ago and they've sat there. Let me know in the comments if I'm missing out on lots of stuff. Cardcaptor Sakura, I have the original Dark Horse Omnibus versions, not the new Kodansha special edition ones. I actually love these. They're like photocopy quality paper, and they're some of the first things I ever bought when I started collecting manga, so one of my favourite series ever, and one that I'll always cherish. Next to that I have Cardcaptor Sakura Clear Card. I only have the first 4 volumes of that because I want to collect more so I can binge it. I have a little bit of a clamp thing going on down here. So next I have Wish, the omnibus. This was gifted to me by Shay from Shay Geeks Out. So thanks very much, Shay, for this. I really love this. It's pretty different to everything I've read, but you know, it's definitely worth checking out if you enjoy a fantasy romance type series. Then I have Angelic Layer Volumes 1 and 2, which is one of Clamp's shonen series. Still haven't read, but I hear really good things about it. This was one I got both volumes for like £10 on eBay, and they've just been sat there for a while on my TBR. Next to that I have After the Rain Volumes 1 and 2. This is a fantastic seinen romance series. Really love this. This was just exactly what I was looking for. It's kind of a really good feel-good, sort of easy read. Just about a girl who falls in love with her manager at work. It's not creepy. You'd think it might be, but it's not done too creepily. Very tasteful, and well, at least up to what I've read, and I definitely plan on getting the rest of that. Next to that I have The God's Lie, which is a fantastic kind of one-volume standalone series that's really worth checking out, but it will probably leave you feeling pretty sad. And then The Girl from the Other Side, Volumes 1 to 4, one that I'm very behind with, but one that I really love. This is more like a Western comic than a manga to me, at least that's how it feels, and it's a really fantastic and heartfelt story. Next to that, I have my Nausicaa and the Valley of the Wind box set, which was a gift that I got for my birthday. These are kind of like hardcover volumes. The paper quality in them is not the best, but actually they're relatively cheap. I'm pretty sure you can get the whole series for £35, and if you enjoy the film, then this is a must read for any Miyazaki fan. And then here we have my art books. So these are again some of my most treasured possessions. I have a Naruto one, a Bleach one, D. Greyman illustrations, which are beautiful. The two Soli Solar hardcover art books, which are fantastic, and then a Neon Genesis Evangelion illustrations, which was again a gift from OnTheShelf. So, you know, thanks man, I love this and I will always treasure it. Next to that, I've got two box sets. So I have the original Naruto box set, which collects the first 27 volumes of Naruto. Some say that's probably the better arc, and I'd be, you know, happy to agree. And then I have the Full Metal Alchemist box set, which is the complete series, and a light novel in there as well, which I never read. I kind of regret having this. I think it's a good thing. I think the box art is really pretty, but I wish I had those really nice hardcover shiny volumes. So if you've got those, then props to you. I'm very jealous, but I'm probably not gonna sell it just to buy those. I'm not that kind of collector. Okay, so here we have my bookcase that you see in all of my videos because it's got all of my favorite series on it. Okay, so at the very top I have the Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z complete box sets. These were re-released by Viz Media, so thanks again for doing that. I missed the initial release way back in the day, and they were selling for an extortionate amount online, so sorry to anyone who bought those at the time when they were, you know, being resold by people, but I don't have anything else to say about them other than I love the series and I'm working my way through Dragon Ball Z at the minute and loving every minute. So it'll come as no surprise to a lot of you that I have an Inio Asano shelf. He's one of my favourite authors. First up I have an Ichigahara Holograph, fantastic, weird series, and then What a Wonderful World Volumes 1 and 2, Solanin, the Solanin epilogue, which is completely unnecessary, really thin, but yeah, you don't need that as part of the story, but I'm a collector, so I have it. And then the Goodnight Pompon Volumes 1 to 7, and that is complete. Probably his best series. I know Zach on OnTheShelf will disagree, but I personally kind of prefer that one over the others. Then I have Volume 1 of Goodnight Pompon in Japanese, which was a fantastic gift from Highland Manga from when she went to Japan. She bought me this, so thanks again. As you can tell, it is one of my most prized possessions, and it sits in a pride of place on top of the shelf. Then I have A Girl on the Shore, questionable manga, but I really enjoy it. Dead Demons Destruction, Volumes 1 to 7. Can't remember if there's a volume 8 out, but if there is, I'll be getting that soon. Then I have Downfall, which is his newest release work from Viz, and probably my least favourite actually. Pretty disappointed with it, but it's a fun ride, but for Asano, it's just not as good. It doesn't really have much weight behind it. Then I have the Neon Genesis Evangelion Omnibuses completed, so it's volumes 1 to 14 in omnibus format. Then Planetes, volumes 1 and 2. This was one of the first series that I said I would never complete because they were out of print, and then lo and behold, they reprinted it. So I think it's again out of print, so sorry to get your hopes up at the minute, but I'm really, really glad to have this. This is a sci-fi space slice of life by the creator of Vinland Saga, so really worth checking out if you can find it. Then next to my little cat statue, I have the Levius Omnibus, which I've not got around to reading. I think I started a couple of chapters and I thought I need an afternoon to binge. So a steampunk series, it's kind of like reminiscent to me of like Battle Angel Alita meets, what's that like anime series with the metal guys who fight with metal arms? I can't remember. But yeah, it's kind of like that. It's like a fighting steampunk series, but it's probably more of a cover buy than anything. Now this series definitely needs no introduction. That is Gantz, volumes 1 to 37, a weird little squishy llama, and Gantz G, volumes 1 to 3. This is completed and it's my most prized possession of, you know, my entire collection. This is kind of like something that I dreamt I would have in my collection, and now I do. So I'm not trying to brag or anything. It took a long time to find, and it took a lot of effort on my half to kind of get the guy to post the thing to begin with. So don't hold your breath for this, but if you can get the omnibus versions, then I definitely would. Really great sci-fi series. And then Gantz G, not so much, but it came with the original series, so I wasn't going to turn down free manga. And then I have Hiroya Oku's new series, which is Gigant. So this has been reviewed by quite a lot of my YouTube friends, and it's really weird, as you would have guessed from the creator of Gantz. Just to give you kind of a quick rundown, if the cover doesn't tell you anything, it's about a porn star that can become giant at will, and all the craziness that ensues. So yeah, thanks again Hiroya Oku for, you know, making my girlfriend question why I buy manga. Okay, so halfway down the second bookshelf, I have the Berserk single volumes. I also have Giganto Maxia by Kentaro Miura as well. I haven't read this. This is like a one-shot volume thing that he released, but I thought I would get it for kind of like completionist's sake, and I keep meaning to read it. But yeah, I have all the Dark Horse single volumes, and I don't have any of the weird kind of old spines either, which I'm really happy with. These are all the newer ones. I am up to date with this pretty much. I am up to volume 33, and I stopped there because it's approaching the point now where I'm going to have to wait for the new chapters to come out, and I don't want to do that, so I'm kind of saving it up for a rainy day. Then I have the official Berserk guidebook. So I like to keep these on display and have it like a nice little complete, just drop that, never mind, have like a nice little complete Berserk shelf. And I know a lot of you love the omnibus versions, and I do as well. I think they look beautiful, but I'm not about to sell any manga to just go and buy the same manga. So underneath Berserk, I have Battle Royale 1 to 15. This is complete by Tokyo Pop, and you'll notice that I have all of the spines the same, so I don't see many people who have that. I'm very proud to own them in this sort of format. It just seemed to work out nicely. I don't know why, but thanks again to Highland Manga for finding me that eBay deal. I love this series. Pretty batshit crazy, but I love it all the same. Then I have I Am a Hero Omnibus volumes 1 to 4. I'm pretty sure these are out of print now. I knew it was going to happen, but I didn't have the money to buy the rest, so I'm kicking myself a little bit, but hey, we might be able to find them. Or maybe they'll do the kind of deluxe deal with these, that would be the dream. But this is a zombie survival series which is so good. The art is really good and it's really kind of weird, and the main character is just a bizarre character, which is really interesting to read about. Then I have Fire Punch Volumes 1 to 8. This is complete as well. I've just done a recent review of this, so I'm not going to say much more. Go and check that out. Then I have Colosseum Volume 1, which is a really weird series. This was bought for me by my parents for Christmas, and all the characters are kind of based on real people, and they're in like a weird battle royale fighting situation. So if Vladimir Putin chopping the head off a tiger doesn't make you want to check out this manga, then I don't know what else will. Then I have Golden Kamuy Volumes 1 to 4, which is really, really good, but I'm very behind. And it's kind of like got everything in there. It's like action, food, manga, comedy, like everything you could want from any series. I think Golden Kamuy has got you covered. And then I have a cute little geisha in the corner. So yeah, moving on. Again, one of my most prized possessions. I have Mobile Suit Gundam, The Origin Omnibus releases, the hardcovers from Vertical. These are some of the most beautiful releases ever, and I talk about them all the time. I'm still quite behind. I'm on volume 5, so I'm just under halfway, but I'm loving every minute of this. This was something that I got in a bulk buy from eBay quite a while ago actually, and not until very recently have I really kind of binged it. But I love it all the same, and I think this is probably my favourite cover, just from the spine alone. They're all photocopy quality paper, and they're really expensive, so if you can get them, then definitely do, depending on the price. Then I have Happiness Volumes 1 to 10. So Shuzo Oshimi is my favourite author. Done a video about all of his works previously, so we're just going to skip over these very quickly, but really great vampire series. Then I have the single volumes of The Flowers of Evil, Volumes 1 to 11, that's completed as well. Really, really good, but messed up series, as are all of his series. Okay, next I have Blood on the Tracks, which is just the first volume. This is the newest release by Shuzo Oshimi, and again, it's really weird, it's really messed up, but it's about a crazy parent and her son and how she's too protective of him. That's saying it very lightly. Just to quickly mention as well, on this shelf I also have a cool little pin, which is the logo for the heroes in Mobile Suit Gundam, The Origin. This is kind of like my, it's like a special thing that I got when I bought some anime, Gundam anime, and then I kept this, I don't know why. This is just a cool little tag from a t-shirt that I got for the 40th anniversary of Gundam by Uniqlo. Then I have a Dominator from Psycho Pass, but this is actually a, I can't really do this one-handed, it's a USB. So the top opens up and then it's a USB for your computer. Pretty unpractical, but really dope. And if you know how much I love Psycho Pass, then I had to buy that. Okay, we're nearly at the bottom of the second shelf, so I will go through very quickly. I have Inside Mari, Volumes 1 to 5. Probably Shuzo Oshimi's best work in my opinion. Then I have these cute little Final Fantasy figures that I've had since high school. Don't know which Final Fantasy they're from, I feel like it's 3, but I got them when I was pretty young and I love them, so they've been there forever. And then I have Vinland Saga, Volumes 1 to 10. I don't have the 11th one yet. That is definitely up there with what I kind of want to pick up soon. Then I have the Blade of the Immortal Omnibuses 1 to 5, so I only have half of it. These are my latest conquest by Dark Horse, so I'm hunting down the volumes. They're pretty easy to find at the minute, but it's finding the money to buy them. But it's one of my favourite new seinen series. I say new, I've newly discovered it, and it's fantastic, even if it is printed left to right, which is really weird. Then I have the start of my Takehiko Inoue collection. So I have Buzzer Beater Volumes 1 and 2. These are actually Japanese. They're a webcomic that was sent to me When I bought some of his other manga, this was included. I didn't actually know it was included. I just think whoever sold me the manga had these lying around and they didn't want them, so they threw them in for free. So really happy with those, and I'm gonna kind of make a little project out of it and translate them in my own time with some little post-it notes and stuff. So if you'd be interested in a review of Buzzer Beater, then I might do that. Maybe I'll vlog it in some way, we'll see. Okay, and now is the final shelf of my second bookcase, and I have Vagabond, the Vizbig Omnibus Editions, volumes 1 to 12. This is my favourite Takehiko Inoue series. It has the most beautiful art ever. The spines are freaking amazing, and it's just a really, really good samurai series. I know a few people aren't huge fans of it, but I personally really love it. It's kind of like it's like a retelling almost of the life of a really famous samurai, but it's all fictional, so there's a lot of political drama in there, and there's a lot of action and gore, as you'd expect, so it's really good. Must have if you're into those sort of series. Then next to that I have Real, volumes 1 to 14. So this, I want to say both of these series are on hiatus. They aren't being finished anytime soon. I don't know if Inoue is planning on ever revisiting them, which is really sad. But Real is a recent purchase. I got a lot of like library copies, which I'm pretty unhappy about, but I'm gonna kind of refurbish them in some way. But it's about a wheelchair basketball team. So again, sports manga. Not really a fan of sports manga, but I am a fan of Inoue, so I'm pretty sure I'll love this, and the characters will be really well written, so I will most definitely be doing a review, or just a general kind of the genius of Takehiko Inoue video very, very soon. Okay, so finally this is my much smaller bookshelf, and you never see this in any of my videos. I'm not really sure why, but it's just kind of like a bit out of the way. So at the top I have the Tokyo Ghoul box set. I'm saving this space for the Re-box set, which is being released later this year. A couple of amiibos, and then the mascot to my favourite ice hockey team, which is the Nottingham Panthers. Then we have my Naoki Urasawa shelf. So I've got Monster Omnibuses volumes 1 to 9, which is completed. And then I have the 20th Century Boys Omnibuses 1 to 5, which I'm a little bit behind, but I want to binge read this again, so waiting for those. But really love the spines on these, and I'm really kind of a big fan of these Viz signature editions. I think they're really nice. And then I have Pluto volumes 1 to 8, which is completed, which is a cool sci-fi retelling of the Astro Boy story. Probably my favourite Urasawa work, which is controversial, but it was the first one I read, and it's like very compacted, so I really enjoy it. Then I have Cats of the Louvre by Taiyo Matsumoto, which was my favourite manga of last year, so if you haven't checked that review out, then please go and do that. Then this little gap is kind of what I use for what I'm currently reading. So I'm currently reading The Walking Dead and volumes 16 and 17 of Dragon Ball Z. Okay, next I have Dorohedoro 1 to 23. This is completed, and can we just take a minute to really appreciate how beautiful these damn spines are. Thanks again, Viz. Such a great series, really, really kind of underrated and overrated at the same time. I think it's one of those series that you either love it or you hate it, and the style of it is really weird. I personally am a huge fan. This is my favourite cover. I don't know why, I really like these kind of neon looking ones. And I really hope we get the next work by Kyu Hayashida in the future. That would be great. So here I have, quickly skimming over some graphic novels. I have like Paper Girls, Outcast, Batman, and then volumes 1 to 24 of The Walking Dead. So yeah, annoyingly I got the kind of hardcover of volume 1, and then I went with the single volumes. So I probably will sell this at some point and buy the first 2 single volumes, just because it affects me when I look at it. So thanks for sticking this out. This is my final shelf. So on this we have the Tenjo Tenge Omnibuses volumes 1 to 11. That's complete. This is a really, really great but very ecchi series. Like, I think this is the most kind of sexually explicit series I have after Gantz, maybe, or maybe before Gantz. But it's really kind of violent and macho, and it's just like it's a crazy time. A lot of volumes in it are just flashbacks, but it's really fun, and the characters are all really weird. It's the creator of Air Gear, so if you've ever read or watched Air Gear, then you should probably check this out if you enjoyed that. Then I have Neo Powered Parasite, which is a spin-off of the original Parasite manga, which was also a gift. Then I've got Volume 1 of Arm of Cannon, which I haven't read. I just picked it up because someone recommended it to me. But it's quite an old series, and it's Tokyo Pop, so it's probably impossible to finish. Then I have Watchmen, the complete comic book, and the Akira box set. So this is definitely one of my most prized possessions that was featured in a previous video. It's I also have, you'll probably notice, just a volume 6 under there because one of them is damaged. They're all hardcovers, and I messaged Kodansha and they just resent me volume 6, but they sent me the old volume 6, so I don't really mind. It's quite nice to just have a little reading copy so that I don't damage the one that I already have a little bit more. But this was for the 35th anniversary of Akira, and again, probably one of my most prized possessions. So thanks again, guys. If you made it this far, then please leave a like. And yeah, I just want to say I've loved creating videos. I've loved kind of collecting manga for all these years, and I'm not really sure what I'm going to do because I'm running out of space. So I think that's the problem of every collector. But I hope that you'll stick with me for the years to come, however long they are, with YouTube. And yeah, thanks again, and I'll catch you next time.